Hey, Worship Leader, welcome back to the channel. If you've never been here, my name is Jimmy Cooper, and I created Hey Worship Leader to be a resource. And today we have a special guest, Junior from Jet Pedals. What's up, man?
What's up, everybody?
I wanted to have him on the channel because I've been a fan of your products for a few years, at least a year and a half now.
I think
And
so.
yeah, and I just wanted to talk about it. And I know how YouTube is; people tend to click off quickly. But so before they do, if they choose to, I want to tell them about this giveaway. We're giving away the Jet MCX. Can you see that? There it is. So if you guys want to win this, click the link in the description. I think by the time this video goes out, you'll only have a few days left to win it. So if you want to get your hands on that, check it out. Click the link in the description. And there's a bunch of different bonus things you can do to increase your chances of winning. Man, Junior, you're here. And what's your last name?
Thomason.
I said Thompson in one of my videos.
Thomason. Oh, that's all right. It's pretty common. I get Thompson a lot.
Get Thompson a lot.
Yeah, that's where the Jet comes from. Actually, my first name is Edwin, but my middle name is Junior. And so that doesn't sound near as cool.
Oh.
So Jet is actually, Jet Pedals comes from my initials.
Your initials?
Yeah.
I didn't even know, man. That's awesome. Yeah, very cool. Well, I wanted to have you on just to tell us a little bit about how it came to be. Like, when did the idea to start a pedal company originate? How long ago? Just kind of give us a brief history of it.
Yeah, so I haven't always been a guitar player. I grew up playing saxophone. I've done upright bass, electric bass, but I've always, back in my saxophone days, I've always loved effect pedals and always wanted to tinker around with that. So which kind of made me want to start playing guitar. So when I got into the guitar world, which is a money pit, but got into the money pit and then decided that I wanted to figure out, at that time I was kind of broke. So I was like, how am I going to build guitar pedals? How am I going to do this and just have some fun at it? And so I decided I'm going to build my own pedals. So I kind of started out like most people. You kind of figure out where, a couple of circuits online, you can kind of figure out how to copy those circuits. And then you just start modifying those circuits. And it's been kind of a really fun process just to kind of get in there and see how the electronic side of things work. So that kind of goes in with my background a little bit. I've actually was an electrician by trade. So electrical and then electronics are not exactly similar, but they do have a lot of common areas here in principle. So I was an electrician by trade. Then I actually went to college, went to electronics engineering for a little bit, and then did some computer programming. So kind of all this kind of had formed together to kind of start building my curiosity to start marrying some of this digital programming and analog circuits type stuff. So that's kind of where it all began, just out of my curiosity and hobby and just flat out being broke and needing to make my own pedals rather than buying them. So honestly, that started as a hobby, but then, I didn't want to start a company. I didn't want to just make a copy of another overdrive circuit, stamp my name on it, slap it out and say, we got this brand new product, innovative product. So that hobby happened for a year or so, just having fun with that. And then one of my buddies, he plays a guitar with me on our worship team. He was saying one day, he's like, man, I really wish you could get the cloud algorithm, the cloud reverb from the Big Sky, but in a smaller format and in a more affordable package. And so, it's like, well, that actually would probably be pretty popular. Yeah. So I set out to try and recreate that. And that's how the Revelation Reverb was born. And then from there, that was really our first product that we launched. I felt that was worthy of launching a product that had our own unique stamp on it. So.
And how was it received? Because I didn't know about the Revelation until when you released the stereo version. That's when I was introduced to it, and so then I went back and listened to the videos on the first rendition.
Yeah. So just starting a company, you have no social presence. You really have hardly any network whatsoever. So we launched the first Revelation. We launched those and made 50 pedals. So we sold out of all 50 in like a year. So that was pretty slow progress. But as that developed, as I learned some more skills and figured out how to get presets on board, get Midi, really do some of these other things, I really wanted to take what I thought was maybe a downfall with the first Revelation and just improve on that. So, the sound wise, it was received really well, but everyone wants more. They want more functionality. They want more at their fingertips rather than having to bend over and flip buttons and toggle knobs. So that's
Yeah.
kind of where the V2 came from.
Yeah, the V2, and then the Midi
Yeah.
was added. And if people don't know what I'm talking about, I got it right here. We got the blackout version, which I love. It's not in focus. There it is.
There you go.
I really love the white version. If I had a white Stomp, I probably would have went with a whole white board, but we got the blackout here. And
Yeah, blackout looks sweet. The white is actually our best seller, so it seems to be everybody loves the white.
People will send me pictures of their pedal board and they're like, "Hey, I'm the yin to your gang. I got the all white board and you got the all black one."
Nice.
Yeah,
I love it.
And more than the way it looks, it sounds amazing. I mean, it's like I did a video on here where I compared the shimmer setting of the Revelation to the Big Sky to the Specular Reverb version 3, and then even some Stomp shimmer stuff. And in my opinion, it's the best one. I mean, it has like a high, non-irritating, kind of floats up there sound. I don't even know how to describe it. You just have to hear it. But
we spent a lot of time on that algorithm because I wanted to get it perfect. With the thing that I battle against with this Revelation is it's a 3-knob pedal, right? So I always want to make sure I offer simplicity and ease of use, but then the drawback is you're not going to have a lot of tweakability, right? So my biggest fear whenever I release a pedal is the sound that I have in my head. Is that what everyone else is going to like, And so that is, like you say, the drawback I've always had with other shimmer reverbs is that they can be piercing, very crystally, digitally type sound. I've definitely wanted to get rid of all that and just give you one easy volume knob, amount of shimmer, and really just give what I feel is the best sounding shimmer I can create. And that's how it came about.
Well, one of my first shimmer pedal ever was like the Mr. Black Eterna. It was the pink edition. And what I loved about that pedal is the reverb sounded so good by itself. And it was a 3-knob thing. And you could just take all the shimmer out and just bring in as much as you want. And it's just like this. What makes this better is that it has trails. that pedal, and it was true bypass. And I could not for the life of me try to figure out how to run it where if I clicked it off, it wouldn't just cut off. And so I had to get rid of it. But man, it sounds great. I spent a lot of time on the mod setting as well. I love that mod setting. And then I play around with a sub octave sometimes in my videos to get some cinematic sounds.
Yeah. The sub is, we wanted to do something there that we weren't sure what to create for our third algorithm. So we threw it out there on the forums, what do you guys want to hear? And the most popular response was a sub octave algorithm. So we created that to fill the gap on this V2. We knew we had a hit with the mod. We knew the shimmer was going to sound good, or at least in my mind, but it's reaffirmed now at least.
Yeah.
And then the mod algorithm, the anti-shimmer algorithm, the yellow sub, was a fun one to create because it actually adds a sub octave and then another sub octave underneath that, which really brings out that bottom end. And it's a lot of fun to play with. And you can get huge swells. You can be up further on the neck and really bring in that full spectrum of swells, adding a whole nother layer of rich harmonics in there. So
and if you turn the control all the way up and the mix all the way up and turn the decay all the way down, you can kind of get like just a bassy playing with some sounds.
Almost like an octave bass generator, but
right. It's
got a little small reverb type space still on it. So
yep. Man, that's awesome. So I want to talk about the MCX, which people can win. But I didn't have this first. I had the Jet Micro, and I thought it'd be a good chance to clear up the fact that I think a lot of people still think that this is the upgraded version to the Micro, and really they're two different pedals and they have two different purposes. And I still send people that I think probably are not MIDI minded or they're just getting into it. And I'm like, I bet you the Micro would be better than the MCX. Maybe, I try to explain the differences. And so, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. So the Micro was actually our second pedal released. It was released after the Revelation V1, and that's kind of when the HX Stomp got popular. And first thing I did when I got a Stomp is like, I don't have enough buttons. I can get a 2-button aux controller, but still, that's not enough for me. I need to do more. This Stomp can do so much. I need to make something that's going to be a nice complement to the Stomp. So the Micro is basically just that. It is a complement to the Stomp, but to take the features further along than a 2-button switch, you've got to really get into the MIDI world.
Mm-hmm.
One like myself early on, I was devastated with MIDI. What is MIDI? How does it work? And how do I use it? And so I thought, let's just make a pre-programmed MIDI controller that's plug and play, that is made for the Stomp and basically controls all the features that the Stomp has to offer, and open it up completely. And that's kind of what came out of that design. I knew that the Stomp, its purpose was to be a small multi-effects unit, amp modeler, that needs to be integrated into a smaller pedal board. So for me, right off the bat, full functionality and small in size was kind of what we had to shoot for. It was our goal. So we do get a lot of flack on the buttons look really close together
Yeah.
and things like that. So it's kind of something you need to slightly get used to, but a lot of people don't understand the button in the back is raised higher. It
Yep.
allows you to be able to get up to it quite a bit easier than the front too.
See if we can focus in on that while we're talking.
There it is.
Yep.
And then the front 2 buttons are actually spaced almost the same distance apart as like the spacing on your Strymon, like the Strymon trifecta pedals, or even the Morningstar, the products, the MC6, they're exactly spaced the same distance apart there. So
Yeah.
it just gives that appearance or illusion that they're very close together. Anyways, okay, so that is what the Micro is made for. It's a complement to the HX Stomp. It's made to control the HX Stomp, and it's plug and play. So for the MIDI people that are maybe intimidated by MIDI, they can just plug it in and go. We did add a few other features in the Micro that allows you to control some external pedals via MIDI, but the functionality is really limited. So then from there, we wanted to make another product, the MCX, where it is fully robust in features, has an online web editor. You can store all of your presets in there. And then this controller, USB port, USB-B. This will be used to control a whole pedal board. So it can control up to 16 pedals at one time. It can send multiple MIDI messages at one time, which are all customizable. So for instance, on the Revelation we were talking about, we have 3 knobs. You've got a preset, an algorithm, and a couple of different switches, right? You can send 5 or 6 different messages to completely control the Revelation all at one time, turning down the mix, adjusting decay, changing the algorithm, turning on presets, things like that. So the MCX is definitely fully robust and completely customizable. One neat feature about the MCX, I'm not sure if many people use it yet, but it is USB class compliant. So that means you can plug it in with a USB cable into your computer, and you can not only use your MCX to control tracks and things within Ableton, stuff like that, or any of your DAWs that you're using. You can also use it as a relay hub. So if your worship team is basically on rails, right? Everything is on rails from Ableton. You can actually sync your whole pedal board to the tracks in Ableton. So Ableton can send MIDI messages to the MCX, and it'll relay through the MCX and then control your pedal board, all your pedals on your pedal board, and you'll be perfectly in sync with your tracks, with your set list, your BPMs. You'll never have to change or hit any buttons whatsoever. Verse, chorus, bridge, your tones automatically sync up.
That's crazy.
So it's definitely a little bit more robust than the Micro for sure.
Right. Well, let me do a follow-up question then. That's what you just described was Ableton controlling your pedal board. Can this control Ableton and then in return control the pedal board? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes. Yeah, it's bi-directional. Correct.
Yep. And that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So much fun. So we had a lot of fun creating that product. The MCX, it has 8 different banks. So basically, I set it up for how I use worship. So if we have Sunday morning, you're going to have 4 or 5 songs for the most part, depending on your church, depending on your setup. So we wanted to make sure that 3 banks was just not going to be enough, because I program a bank per song. I use the MCX I've actually seen some of your videos and how you use it, and I use it a little bit different. So I'll use it per song, and I'll actually send all my BPMs out from the MCX per song. So everything gets synced up from the MCX. And then I'll use it like verse, bridge, chorus, lead, and solo, things like that. Anyways, and then you have like nights of worship where you may have more than 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 songs, and that's kind of the intent there, to give you your 8 different banks, so you could hopefully be able to do a whole set with the MCX
Yeah.
in a worship context.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out how to use it too. And I was thinking, I don't have any, my external MIDI pedals aren't delay, but I think going that route, being able to just switch to the different bank and send out like the MIDI clock, the BPM, that would be the way to go. And that's probably the next thing for me to try to tackle. It's one thing at a time. For our viewers, I'm new to MIDI. The Jet Micro is my gateway pedal into the world of MIDI. And I've been on the phone with you several times, just like, okay, what am I doing? And
Yeah.
you were super helpful, and I'm starting to get it a little bit here and there.
You got it. I know. Yeah, we've had a lot of repeat customers that purchased the Micro and then moved up to the MCX. So it's been a good transition. I like that MIDI gateway.
MIDI gateway, that's right. I think the Micro is perfect for that, and then the MCX is just it's there. It can control anything. And one of the things I try to say in my videos is that you can send 16 messages per press, and some people think, oh, I'd never need all that, but I only have 2 pedals. And those messages get eat up pretty quick. If you go from snapshot to snapshot, you might control those 3 parameters, but you also got to turn it on. And you got to turn it back off if you don't want it off on the next song or the sound or snapshot, and that's just 1 pedal, and that's 4 or 5 messages. If you get 2 or 3 pedals, you're.
And that's funny you mentioned that. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. I have a lot of different MIDI pedals on my board. And one of my biggest pet peeves is when you send a PC message, which is synonymous to turn on a preset, right? Most manufacturers will program the pedal to jump to that preset, but if your pedal isn't on, it doesn't turn on. So it takes a second message to turn on the pedal, and then your first message to turn on the pedal, the second message to jump to that preset. And that's a big pet peeve of mine. And so when we built the Revelation, anytime you send a PC message to our Revelation, it turns it on, it kicks on preset mode, and then it actually jumps to the correct preset. So it does a lot behind the scenes with just a single press, and we're trying to be as efficient as we can with MIDI. Anyways, I'll get off my high horse.
No, that's awesome. That's another, I'm glad you're sharing this here. That's good. That's awesome. So anything that you want to share about what's right around the corner with Jet? Anything to be excited about?
Oh man, we're working on a couple of things. Actually, I've got a sneak peek.
Okay, here it is. You saw it here first.
You got it. We're working on a couple products right now. I'm just working up on some programming now. I'll probably be making the official announcement, depending on when this video goes live. It may be right before or right around when this video comes out, but stay tuned for that for sure. We're going to be releasing a couple new products, and we're trying to once again be on the forefront of technology and kind of marrying that blend between analog circuitry and digital controls. So we're super pumped to kind of see how the market's going to receive these next couple products.
That's awesome, man. Well, I hope we get my hands on whatever it is. Awesome. Very cool. So, hey, I've been having people on this channel, and I've been doing like just a fun get to know Junior, this or that. I'm going to say something and you say this or that. Like the first one is dog or cat?
Oh, cat.
You're a cat person. You got cats in your house now?
We do.
Nice.
We have 1 cat. We have 1 cat, 1 dog, but I've always been a cat guy.
Okay. Just so you know, you're the first person to be a cat person on the channel.
Well, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it. That's fine. Sure. My wife, we don't have a dog. My wife's like trying to get me to get a dog, and I've always been a dog person, but right now I'm a pet-free person, and I like it. All right. Netflix or YouTube?
Oh, Netflix for sure.
Netflix. I'll add Disney Plus in there. Are you into anything over there?
No, we don't have that.
No Marvel or anything like that? That's what we've been watching. We just finished WandaVision. It's pretty good. Okay. Yeah. All right. So you're just going to chill on your phone, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Oh man. I go to Facebook more often than not. I promote the business more on Instagram, but I like to stay involved and connected with all the different groups. And I like to chat and chill with everyone on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, totally different experience, but yeah, chilling, I'm definitely going to Facebook.
Okay. Yeah. That's why I stay on. If it wasn't for all the gear groups, That's what I get on to check, and there's always more than I can catch up on for
Yeah.
sure. All right, music or podcasts?
Oh, music for sure.
Music, yeah. Apple or Android?
Apple.
Apple, nice. And so, yeah, that was fun. You and your wife, you serve at a church in some area. Tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So we're here in Kansas City. Jet Pedals is Kansas City based, along with a couple other great builders here in town. We had started our worship journey at the Vineyard Church, and spent and served several years there. My wife is a worship leader, acoustic guitar player, and I've got our little pedal board built. She's got a Stomp on her board now, so she does some
Nice.
rhythm electric.
If you send me a
Uh,
picture, I'll pop it up on the screen.
all right, I'll send it over to you. And then so we had recently transitioned over to Discover Church, and it's actually a great church within the school where our kids go to school. So they go to school at a Christian school, and there's a church that meets there every Sunday morning. And it's been really good for the kids to be able to connect and know the folks there at the church. And we're just now getting plugged in and getting ready to start serving at Discover as well. So great group of people. But yeah, we
Yeah.
enjoy it. So I play bass as well. I'm actually a better bass player than I am a guitar player.
Nice.
I'm still trying to be a good guitar player, but I think I can. I've got an ear for tone, and we're going to stick with that for now. And
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to put it. I think I have a good ear for tone. I'm still learning the guitar. I got my new guitar. I don't know if you've seen it yet,
I
but
have it. There's a Reverend, right?
yeah, Reverend. I'm enjoying
Very
it.
nice.
I've
Very
decided
nice.
to just play it for a while and not pick up my telly because I've played that telly for over 13 years and that's all I know. And
Yeah.
so it's forcing me to think a little bit differently about tone, but I like it. It's good. Yeah, yeah.
I recently just picked up a Gretsch Silver Falcon,
Ooh,
and it definitely is probably my favorite guitar right now.
man.
It's so big though; it's hard to take it out of the house, and you don't want to break it.
You don't want to
So
ding it up. Yeah.
I know, but I'm loving that one. And then my go-to guitar after that is Veritas Portlander.
Okay.
So they're very similar in as far as they have nice grit and clarity to them.
Yeah.
But obviously the Gretsch is going to be a hollow body, which just adds a whole nother level to it.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
should have put this at the beginning of the video, but what's your pedal board like? What are you running?
Oh man. I'll send you a picture of that as well so we can throw it up on the screen. But I do run the MCX as the central hub for my brain. And then I've got a Revelation V2 on there for my main reverb. I do have the RV5 is kind of like my always on. I have just a nice dark hall, which is an always on. And then I do try and support some of the other Kansas City builders. So we've got a Protein on there. We have the Andy Timmons Plus from JHS. So that's kind of my Kansas City board there.
Yeah.
And then delay. I'm running an Empress ecosystem.
Okay. Is that
And
MIDI?
then it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Got an H9 as well, and then Jackson Audio Golden Boy. So those are my few drives there. But we may be swapping some drives out here in the next month or two, if that's a hint at all.
I wasn't gonna say
But yeah, and so then I run everything through a modeler. So it just depends on the day if we're running through the Stomp, running through a Kemper stage, or I did recently just pick up an Axe-FX 3. So
nice.
I'm loving all of them. They're really great. But
I've never experienced in my ear anything other than the Stomp. And then somebody from Greenville, South Carolina sent me, and I'm gonna do a video on it soon, the Geneva amp sim. It's just an AC30, but it sounded really good and it takes the drives really well. I'm gonna do a video on that soon. I had to send it back for something, but he's gonna send it. But I've heard good things about the Iridium, but I haven't heard it with my own ears in through headphones. And then
I've only played the Iridium at NAMM in 2020, right before COVID came and shut everything down. And NAMM's not the best place to try out gear because it's so loud in there, and you really can't hear very well, and you don't have your own gear with you, and it's really hard to get a good vibe. But it did sound great when I was there. But you got to spend some more time with it than just the 15-20 minutes here and there per day.
But the Axe-FX I hear that's where the bar is set.
It's good. I really like it. I got it because I wanted to do the stereo amps, and I really wanted to get back to a wet dry kind of
Mm.
rig.
Yeah.
So I run my pedal board basically has a 4 cable method. So I'll run all my drives first, and then I'll go into the front of the Axe Effects. And then from there, I'll split out into 2 different amps. So I'll run like a matchless and an AC20 in stereo. So my matchless will get all my drive. Well, they both get all my drives, but then the matchless goes straight out to the outputs. And then the AC20 goes out of the effects loop into my pedal board mono and then returns stereo. So it goes through all my wet effects there.
Gotcha.
So then all my wet effects are coming in post, amp, and cab. So you can really get a nice heavy overdrive distortion sound with a ton of clarity. And then you just have all that wet effects floating around in the background and the sides.
Yeah.
So everything's really nice and pristine and clear. And that really helps. So I think amp modeling sounds great on the Kemper, but you just don't have that flexibility of the routing like the Axe FX does as well.
Right. So is this a full rack, or do you have is it like the FM3 or something, or what?
Yeah, I got the rack. So I carry it in with a little case and roll it in, set it off to the side.
Man,
but, yeah,
that's awesome.
It's fun.
Very cool. All right, man. Well, it was good talking to you. Thanks for coming on the channel.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love what you guys are doing. I love the channel, and I love the support you've given us here at Jet. So we really appreciate it.
Well, you've treated me well too. So cool. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and the subscribe button down below. Go follow both of us over on Instagram at Hey Worship Leader and Jet Pedals. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Yeah.